if one of them tried to change it,
so you'll
be shocked the resistance.
You'll
You'll be shocked. Because it is a pattern they came to meet.
If you say
so when I'm talking about pattern, I'm talking about a tradition, a way of life. Something that your great grandfather came to meet it. Your grandfather came to meet it. Your father came to meet it. You too, you have come to meet it. That is why you hear people talk like, oh, in our family, this is how we do things. Number two thing about a pattern. They are established by men. So the question I want to ask you tonight, for those of you who at least are writing, who is the man that established the pattern? This one that I'm preaching, they will copy and go and preach in their churches.
We are making no,
they go on Facebook, they listen, and they will preach. Now listen. It is men who establish the pattern. But the question is, what was their motive behind the pattern? For instance, in this church, we have a pattern. We have a pattern of how we do our services. We start with Bible studies. After Bible studies, we have intercession. After intercession, we have worship. After worship, we have praise. Now, it's a pattern. If you go to other churches, I've been to other churches that I've gone to preach, they do praises before worship. I have been in ministry for more than 12 years. None of my pastors have ever asked me, why is it that Turning Point we do worship before praises?
Many masafo atena asafo so omumu bia misa me da se adan na ya osore na ya.
Some of you grew up in Pentecost, other churches that you do Bible study. You've never asked a question before.
Yemu bebre akọ Pentecost asore but ya miss
many of you, you've been to churches, you've never asked a question. Why do we do Bible says, why do we do intercession? Why do we do worship before praise? Why do we do praise before worship? Why do we follow this pattern?
Yemu bebre akọ sorry bebre a ye misa da say adenti na sorry no enhyehyeye ene ye ne ye asiko ne say.
So I am a new member. I joined the church. This is the pattern. So I joined the church. I follow the pattern. So there are people who go to churches where when you get to the gate, you have to remove your shoe. It's a pattern. And there are people who go to church there. They've never asked the pastor or whoever that why do we remove our shoe? So because now I'm a member of joined the church, so whatever the church is doing, I must also do something. It has become a pattern. So number two, for those of you writing, patterns are established by men. And those men have a motive why that pattern was established.
Now, one hour she says, I shall know Trimuponti away, sir.
That motive can either project a person or demote a person.
Now, she shall know to me a brother.
Patterns don't just exist.
And she shall enter now.
In some other places, before you go to the church auditorium, you have to wash your hand, you have to wash your feet, you have to wash your face before you enter.
Before so we were now when you and so we rush.
I will be watching it that the global movement. People go there, they have to wash. People don't. You see, it has become a pattern. So if you want to enter that place, this is what you have to do. This is our pattern.
Sorry.
But have you ever cared to ask why is it this kind of pattern? Now, one of the things I have noticed about deliverance is that the problem why a lot of us keep making the same mistake, like myself, the mistakes I've done in my life spiritually, is because we don't ask questions. Because you see, I have taught you about altars in this church. And I told you that until you destroy the altar that is fighting you, the patterns in your life cannot cease. Let me say it again. Until you destroy the altar in your life, the pattern in your life, the pattern, and you see, many of you, you know the patterns in your family already. I'm not the one to even tell you. I will mention some few patterns. Some people, it's untimely death. Some people, it's poverty. Some people, it is strange death. Some people, it is sickness. Some people, the pattern in their is children don't come. Some people, it's late marriage. Some, it is the pattern of delay, disappointments, struggle, and hardship. Now, I'll take each one of them and I'll explain one by one. That is if time will permit us. But if you don't learn how to sacrifice and raise new altars, the pattern will continue. And this thing I'm talking about is not how long you speak in tongues. You can pray Suzuki, Mitsubishi. You can pray 7-10 hours. If you don't learn how, not just to break the altar after prayer, but to raise another altar that nobody in your family has ever raised before. You see, one day a witch was confessing something. This is what the witch said. He said the church knows how to pray, but the church does not know how to sacrifice. You check most churches, including Turning Point, when it is prayer, we can fire. When it is fundraising or we're talking about money, we all go mute.
What do you share? As a free moya kasa ya mompa ye geje ya kasa ya mma for ya na ye nyisi kape na hada ne samampom.
Let me say something for the media team who have been write this quote down. Your house you have been able to build. The car you bought. Whatever you are today, it's as a result of your sacrifice.
Amen.
Let me tell you. Nothing propels a man like sacrifice. A man is a product of his sacrifice. So before you look at some of this life and you are jealous of it, ask yourself, have I sacrificed enough to get where the person is? Because life is about sacrifice. When a man is desperately wants to get to the top, sacrifices. One day I was talking to a politician. He said, you don't know what we sacrifice to get to power. You don't know. We sacrifice a lot to get to power. I said you are a product of your sacrifice. You're a product. Every one of us sitting here, how your life is a product of your sacrifice. So if you come to church and all the time you give one Ghana, that is a product of your sacrifice. You are a full expression of your sacrifice.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm sorry, but I'm telling you the truth.
But
where you want to get to, you need to sacrifice to get there. You need to pay a price to get there. Even Jesus had to pay a price. To die on the cross was a price. He paid the ultimate price so that you and I can be saved. Where you are is a result of the sacrifices you made in life. Let me tell you, altars are real. And altars carry a voice. What provokes the altar is a sacrifice. See, when I was a pastor, I said, I don't want to talk about sacrifice. I don't want to talk about money so that people will say I wasn't called. Because already I had an auntie who said, God hasn't called me. I'm doing it for money. So as I started church, my mentality was that I'm just doing church. And I worried the people that followed me earlier. Because they kept giving one Ghana. We kept praying. We were praying. Every year, I realized their life was still the same. I said, God, what is happening? And I said, are we not praying? God says you are praying. I said, God, are we not fasting? God says, yes, you are fasting. I said, God, what is the solution? And I said, He said, teach them sacrifice.
Amen.
I did it for a while and I stopped. Anybody look at me. I can give you prophecies that you'll pack your car. I can give you prophecies about your marriage. But if you don't learn how to sacrifice, you see, whatever you want to, you have to sow into it. And you see, it's a painful sowing. Because the thing, you see, sacrifice simply means that you are not willing to do the thing because the thing is more expensive. You can't afford it. But you have to do it anyway because of where you are going. The altar to speak for you. Sacrifice. You can pray for 20 hours. If there is no sacrifice backing what you are doing, you have no point of reference. I want to ask you, all of you, look at me. What can you lay hands on that you can say it costs you for the work of the ministry or it costs you for God? Yeah. That this money there, it has cost me everything. If you haven't gotten there yet, they are not ready to get to your destination. But I'm sorry, but I want to help you. Because you see, you must have a point of reference. Now, let me prove to you from the word of God. Jeremiah 35. I'm going to read to verse 10. I'm going to read verse 10. The word which came unto Jeremiah from the Lord in the days of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, the king of Judah, saying, verse 2, go unto the house of Rechabite and speak unto them and bring them into the house of the Lord. Bring them into the house of the Lord, into one of the chambers, and give them wine to drink. Now, if it's your own Bible, underline the word, give them wine to drink. Verse 3. Then I took Jazaniah, the son of Jeremiah, the son of Habizziah, and his brethren, and all his sons, and the whole house of the Rechabites. And I brought them into the house of the Lord, in the chamber of the sons of Hanan, the sons of Igdaliah, a man of God, which was by the chamber of the princes, which was above the chamber of Maaseiah, the son of Shallum, and the keeper of the door. Go to the next verse. And I said before the sons of the house of Rechabites pots full of wine and cups, and I said unto them, drink ye wine. And they said, we will not drink wine. For Jehoiada, the son of Rechab, our father, commanded us, saying, ye shall not drink wine, neither ye nor your sons forever. Now, I'll continue. Pause there for me. I was actually reserving this sermon for Festival of Deliverance. But I will reteach it again during the festival with a more revelation. You see, there was a particular pattern in the background. And the pattern says, our Father has commanded us that we should not drink wine. Now, I want to ask a question. I'm just using this one as an issue. I'm not saying go and drink wine. Don't get me wrong. I spoke to a man years ago. He said in their family, every year, wherever you are, you have to travel and come back. They do it every 4 years. And they all have to go to the village and renew. They have to do some renewal. So as I kept interacting with him, I asked him, why is it that all of you? So according to him, every 4 years, whether you are staying in London, China, whatever, all family members, they will travel, go. There's a particular water they have to drink. They call the water of life. They will drink it. They will do some rituals for them. And when they go, they prosper. They will make it. Everything. So I was asking him that, why? Say for years. And I asked him why. He said, if you don't drink that water, and the things are not done for you, when you reach the age of 40, you will either die or you go mad. You will die or you go mad. And wherever family members are, they come. So I asked him, have you asked why you drink that water? He said, our fathers told us to drink it. We didn't ask questions. So just like all of you come to church, this is how the church has made arrangement. This is how you sit. You never ask that, why is it that we don't sit on the altar rather than sitting here? How many of you have had a funeral before? And you are sitting with the council of elders. You are the one that your mother or father is dead. And they ask you to do a certain ritual. And you tell them that, oh, me, I'm a Christian. I can't do this ritual. Do you see how the council of elders, they get angry? They will stand up, so they say, who are you? Who do you think you are? You these small boys. Now, I'm going to challenge you. Most of this council of elders, ask them the meaning behind the tradition or what they want you to do. They can't tell you. You know the answer? They said, we came to meet it. Our fathers told us to do it. And so it was that, but they said, we will not drink no wine, for Jonadab, the son of Rechab, our father, commanded us, saying, you will not drink wine. There was no reason There was no explanation. So a whole generation are moving around. They've instructed. This is the tradition. Everybody is following the tradition. We are all following. And nobody is asking questions. That's why I said the problem of our generation today is that we don't ask questions. Or how I want to say, it's when children are born, they do certain rituals for the child. And people don't dare to ask a question. Why do you do this ritual for the child? Some of you never ask. One day, my wife, anytime, all my children, when I was preparing this, and I remember that Charlie, when the child is doing sick, then we will take one of this one, then we'll fold it and put it. Now, we came to meet our fathers doing, but have we ever asked them the meaning of the thing we put on the child's hair? Do we ask questions? Because it's a tradition. But we saw a mother doing it. So anytime the child sick, then we have to take it there. But do you know the spiritual implication? Have you asked zip put at the mid? Oh, ignorance. You see, that is how. That's what the Bible said. Shall the captive of the mighty be delivered? Shall the lawful captive? So there are many of us, we are lawful captive because of our ignorance. Our ignorance in us, we us because of ignorance. And I'm saying, there is no altar that can qualify to be an altar except there is a sacrifice on the altar. There is no promotion in life without an altar. Because you see, an altar either demotes or promotes you. How far you go in life is dependent on the altar that is speaking for you. And the sacrifice on the altar. So whether you move fast in life or whether you deteriorate in life is dependent on the sacrifice that is speaking on the altar. Let me tell you, altars project your destiny and your future. Altars can also slaughter your future. The problem about the church is that we speak in tongues, but we don't ask questions. Listen, there are two weapons that can conquer any altar. One of them, which I can tell you cannot fail, is a sacrifice. You see, the problem about a lot of us is that we don't pay attention to history. Listen to what I just said. If you don't pay attention to history, you will repeat history. If you don't pay attention to why your grandmother was the way she was, why your father was the way he was, so you can trace it and not become like them, there is a high tendency of you repeating history. And that is the problem about the church. We don't ask questions. Now, let me explain the scripture. They were commanded as a pattern not to drink wine. Go to 7. Verse 7. Then they said, neither shall ye build. So you see, there is a pattern where nobody builds. When I was growing up, one of the patterns I saw was that the men in my family, they don't build. They don't build. There are families where their father started building 40 years ago. Their father is dead and gone. The son has come to continue building. I discovered something. How many of you remembered when I was sick? I was diagnosed of the stomach ulcer. That is the problem of patterns. Look at something. Regina, this is our sitting pattern. If administrator comes to the church and service is going on and Regina is sitting here, the first reaction of the administrator of the church or any pastor is to go to her and tell her, go back and sit. Sister Regina Tibibia Otia. Administrator and answer soft. It's a natural reaction because that is not our pattern. So immediately Regina is sitting here. When Pastor Dopre enters, Pastor Austin or any of the pastors, the first reaction, normal reaction, is that they'll go to her and say, please, can you take your chair? Or the ushers will say, pick your chair and go and sit on the normal pattern. That is why when all of you are in the same family house, you have 5 sisters, nobody is getting married. Oh, everybody is nice. When all of you are nice and all of you, nobody has built. Everybody is nice with you. Until you decide to lay one block on the altar. You lay one block on your land. Or until that day you decided that this enough is enough. I'm getting married. Then you will see the resistance. And the resistance I'm talking about, I'm not talking about outside demons. I'm talking about inside. He said, neither shall they build a house. Years ago at Circle, I met a man. After service, the man came to see me. Pastor, I want to tell you something. My great grandfather couldn't build. My father couldn't build. By the grace of God, I've tried to put on a 2-bedroom. Anytime I put in the building, after a week, the building will collapse on its own. He was a Frenchman. He had his own school. He was running a school. I said, are you serious? I said, yes. Listen, gentlemen. He said, neither shall they build a house. I said, I met one guy, he was driving a Range Rover. He said, I should pray for him. He wants to build a house. I said, and I'm saying, the price of Range Rover can buy one house. Range Rover. He said, Pastor, that is the story of my life. When I have money, if I want to build a house, when I buy the land, they'll take the land from me.
If I
get the money to buy the house, they'll dupe me. So I have 3 houses, but I have 3 cars: Range Rover, Jaguar, and V6. But I'm living in a nice house, but rented.
Or Range Rover or Jaguar. Any car for
because see, there are certain patterns. That is why you need to ask questions. Why is it so? So that when, as I said, if you don't pay attention to history, history will repeat itself in your life. Let me tell you, your father built chamber hall, rented some, and left you.
Oh, Papa, if you
don't ask questions,
so when
your house that you are building may not go beyond the chamber and hall.
Mercy.
You see, when I laid the foundation for the church, I built my house. Laid another foundation for the church. I nearly died. Because you know what I did? I had broken the pattern. I broke the pattern of Regina. As she said, I broke it. So there was a resistance. Satan came at me with all forces. I'm telling you, I nearly died. But if I discovered what I know today, do you know what I would have done before? I would have dealt with the altar that limits people from building. And after I have dealt with the altar that does not allow people to build in my family, before I will bring the protocol. Because the reason why a lot of people marry and they come back home, they get a good job, they lose it because they broke the pattern, but they didn't deal with the altar that has been fighting people concerning that particular pattern. They didn't give a sacrifice to deal with the pattern. So do you know what my father in the Lord, when I was sick and he called, Pastor Austin called him and he prayed for me. Later, I called him and he said to me, have you broken the pattern that limits people from building your family? I said, no. He said, no. I remember exactly the words he said, Master, do you want to die? How can you break a pattern that you have not dealt with a sacrifice? He said, raise a sacrifice immediately. I raised a huge sacrifice. He said, send it to me. As a point of contact in dealing with the altar in your father's house and mother's house that limits people from building. So that you can be able to break the pattern perpetually and continue to build.
Amen.
Let me tell you, it is not just enough for Regina to sit here. And also say, Sister Regina, better be show you something. Come. All of you look at something. Regina, stand here. Face the altar. You see, God is not. You see, this sermon is a 3-day sermon for Festival of Deliverance. I can stay here for more than 3 days. Oh, I can stay here. Pastor Dr. will tell you, this altar is Papa's area. When you leave it for him, even if he's sleeping, you wake him up, he will teach it. When you are part of the party, nobody knows you. That is why I said, until you arrive, your generation, nobody will know you.
Because if
all of us, let me give an example. If any of you among the congregation, if any of you become a minister, deputy minister, big man, big woman, we see by virtue, we humility as we ourselves, the church leadership, will move you from the back to the front. Because you see, until you arrive, your generation, nobody will know. You will just be among the congregation. But your position is someone, because by the time you are coming with your bodyguard and your policeman, the ushers, even though they are your friends, they will not bring you to sit among the pattern. They will change your pattern from the back to the front.
Amen. Papa said, you will be a brass, so now be a minister. Baby, I want to know what you're on. So, Bana Pasa, what now, Crana, yay, Asaboha, you better pay up a chiro, Abenmuha.
Because if we allow you to say the church, we are being fool, we are not wise. Yeah, it means we are not wise. Because the day you leave here, you go to ICGC or any other church, and they give you front seat, you will not come back again.
I guess I don't call ICGC. Near the mouth front seat, one here, I'll say, Mon family turning point.
Now, do you know? As she was sitting, nobody knows it.
Now
go and sit here. What can you see as suddenly come on here? What can you see that has come on here? What can you see that has come on here? Oh, I'm asking you a question. Apart from her, apart from me, who are you seeing next?
This is Regina.
The spotlight has suddenly come on her. But when she was following the pattern, just like any other person, and she had not broken the pattern, she was still just like Peggy. She was like all of us. Nobody was looking at them. It is only I who is looking at all of you. But immediately she broke the pattern and she went here. The light, everything has fallen on her. Now, don't clap yet. That is why when the spotlight falls on you and you have not dealt with the pattern, it doesn't matter that the spotlight has come on you. That's why I said sacrifice, altar, throne, they all go together. So if she doesn't sacrifice enough to maintain a seat, it's only a matter of time. She'll come back and join everybody.
I don't think I make us say, and was ready and when you do so one more prayer.
That is why I have seen men who said, I used to live in my own house. I know one man. One day he stood up one day and sold his own house. Pack his things and went and stayed in the family house. They say, I've been to hear people confess and say, I used to have money, I used to drive this car, I used to have this. Where are they? When the spotlight fell on them, they failed to maintain the seat that will continue the spotlight to be on them. Go and ask politicians why they stay in power for long. The reason why they stay in power because they have understood this principle that when I'm on the seat, I must continue to do the things that sustain me on the seat.
And to go be someone your four back at your 2 minutes so channel. What was so and Yama where you won't buy and one will cost you.
He said, neither shall they build a house. They will not build a house.
Or so people it
is a pattern they will not build.
They
will labor, but they will not build. Yeah. That's why I know a pastor. I know a pastor. A church member came out and said, it's a true story. He didn't beg the church member. I'm giving land to the church. They all clap for the church member. Called the church member, laid hands on him. 2 weeks later, the same church member went and sold the land to another person. They did Kofi and Nama. This church I'm talking about, they're over 20 years old, over 25.
We are making us 25 years old.
The man I'm talking about, he has even preached in this church before.
Sa sofuna make na asem nyame asem wa hada.
Yes, he has preached here several times.
Wa preach wa ha mpem bebre.
They did Kofi and Amma
Womo ye Kofi ni ama afore
raise money
sika
as a part payment to the land.
So womo di kotua esika ni
They
be.
bought the land, sacrificed, raised money until they paid for the land.
En mo mutua asase ne ka nyina.
2 weeks after they paid for the land, somebody showed up with documents.
Na otwe mienu akiri wo tua asase
Genuine
ne ka
documents
wie.
that the land belongs to them.
Okuta obi kita kra ta asase.
They went to land commission, went and checked through the land belongs to them.
Womo call lands ko hwe mu no so asase ne ye won ne di ampa.
Another time,
Abi fufro.
another church member
Asorba fufro.
said, I'm giving my 2 plots.
Osi o me masase 2 plot me mama.
Build the house of God.
Munsi asore dan siso.
They went with blocks to start work,
One with the blocks ko susu am ko sha adwuma
only
ase.
for them to be told that the land belongs to a family house.
Womo ka to say hey asase we ebusu asase.
So for more than 25 to 30 to 30, they don't have a church.
Enti mfie duonu num ni omu ni asondan.
I'm telling you. And this is I'm talking about. If you don't discover, you cannot recover. If you don't pay attention to history, you will repeat history.
Enti sa asemi American se wan yo setie ama bakosem na wan tumi an hwehwe kira wo be ma niam asisi pen no asi wo abrabo mu.
How can a human being set a certain pattern like this?
Adenti na twa se onipa bi eye hwehwe
That you don't build a house.
somebody who
See,
see fie.
I wrote in my book, check my book, this title. It's one of my books. Get
Ewo
it.
me ngoma bi amachro ewo mu.
There was a pattern in a certain village. So long as you come from there, you can never even buy tokumbo, talk less of a car. There was a pattern.
Yewo akura bi ase a machro ewo me ngoma mu se abusua bi wo ho ana akura bi ase wo ho. Ufi se akura na se a woni hu kwansa wo toka. Umpo untumi nto alacha.
House. No, sow seed. Now, this is the aspect that some of you will not like.
Ose mamu nua.
I'm going to say something that some of you get angry. Maybe Sunday cry, you not come to church.
Maybe ka sembi e be hye wabufu an ya Sunday crown ma sorry.
Some of you are not chiseled because you it's your village people that are chasing you. That's why you are chiseled.
Yemu bebre wa ha no enye se yen nsem odin o. Na mom ye fiefo na ma yen nsem.
No, it's not that you are smarter than those of us who give or like we give to the work or we support. No, it's your village people. It's a pattern that is
Enye se
following.
wani na ate. Wo mo asafo adwuma no eye
Let me show
fiefo na ye o
Let
sa.
me show you why.
Ame nkyira oni
The
ntia.
Bible says, so long as there is seed time.
Kyerɛ no sɛ amra eti sɛ ye wo oguo mre no.
Now, there are certain things that are actions. For instance, let me show you. You can never have a harvest without sowing.
Wontumi amra wo
So
nua e.
immediately your village people are telling you to come to church and always give 1 Ghana, and you don't give to support. Like you go and bring 10,000, 20, and sow into the work. We are building. You give, and you say, "This is my sacrifice. I'm supporting. I'm doing this." It means that there is no harvest you should be expecting. The $1 million or million contract, or you have been praying, Lord, make me a millionaire. Forget it, because it will never happen. It will not happen by magic. It is your seed that you sow that determines your harvest.
Enti sɛ ye te
In
he
the kingdom, there are principles that work. It's not about magic. Oh, so am I 1 Ghana, then you get $10 million. It doesn't work like that.
enti sɛ ye te he na wo to afɔ wo ba afɔ na wanga. Na wo hwɛ ni mu kwan sɛ Awurade be bie multi-million dollar.
So those of you who get money and you are chasing, you think about yourself alone and your family.
Hodwe wo kwan hodwe
It
wo
is
ma
not
ho.
you, it's your village
Wo mie
people.
wo nsɛm ɛnyɛ wo a ɛyɛ wo akura ase
It's your
mmɛyɛfo.
village people, they are chasing you.
Wa fiefo na edi wachi.
If I were you, I would clap. It's your village people. I'm telling you. Because you see, they have been given a pattern that they will not sow. And you see, anybody who has set a pattern that you should not sow, it means that the person is saying that you will not have a harvest.
Enti wayam ehihye mu nua enti ne oyes hye no e pa kira wo se edu otwa bra wontumi ntwa.
For God is not mocked. Whatsoever seed a man sow, he will reap it. So if you sow, you will reap.
Ebisa wontumi nsi onyame atwetwe ebisa ne onipa dua no eno ana obetwa.
In due season, you will reap it.
Awo bra esem no wobetwa.
But yet, they have been given a pattern that they should not sow.
So yaka kira won se ma wo mu nua.
They should not give.
Ma wo ma.
I went to a man of God. We finished a program. We couldn't raise. Two of them were able to raise seed for them. One man of God, we couldn't raise a seed. So I went with Emmanuel, one of the guys I invited. He has been tracing the office wants to post into America to go and do something. And they have been tossing. So that day, I just told him, sit in America, let's go to this man of God. So I carried the seed. Pastor Dobre knows the story. I carried the seed, heavy seed. So because the church couldn't raise the money to give to them, and the penny was here. So I carried the seed, went to the man of God. Then we gave it to him. When we gave it to him, I told him, where we are going to a man of God. Carry something. So he carried something on him. When we got there, after I spoke to the man of God, gave him the seed for the church. I said, we are blessing you. This is what we can give you. God bless you, man. Then he said, your friend, I hope everything is okay. I said, oh, I brought him because I want you to pray for him. I need you to pray for him. But I didn't tell him what he was looking for. So he took the seed, put it on the man. I said, put it on his feet. He put it on the man of God's feet. One of the men of God who came in, prayed for him. Said, I bless you. 2 days later, I was there. He called me. Took me to one Gobe joint. Gobe. Sister Ghana Gobe. That's the first time I ate a Sister Ghana Gobe. Bought me Gobe and said, man of God, I have a testimony. I said, what is testimony? The American deal, Charlie, I've been given. I'm going to America. This thing I've been, he said, in my family, nobody has gone to America before. Talk less of Togo here or Benin.
Mercy.
You see, your sacrifice will propel you to. You see, some of you think you are smart. You think you are too clever. So you are doing susu. It's good to save money. I'm not saying you shouldn't save. But I'm saying that, listen, how far you want to go is determined by your sacrifice. One of my directors in the office was sharing a testimony with me. He said there was this woman in her office, big woman. For 20 years, she was trusting God for the fruit of the womb. She had a man of God in Nigeria teaching something similar. Very similar. She was then serving in Cotonou. She carried 2 million sefa.
Offer 2 million sefa.
2 million.
2 million sefa.
Took a plane, went to Nigeria.
And I call Nigeria.
And said, man of God, I've heard your tapes.
I said, my cow, my tail
20 years, my womb has been shot.
20 years, in after
I heard you.
So I'm not tear.
My problem was coming from. Put the seed at the feet of the man of God.
Now on the south,
I left.
No free.
1 year later, boom!
I feel back. She got
pregnant. She got pregnant as if it was not enough. When she was delivering, all the 20 years of waiting, God gave her 4.
Hey! Now, or 9.
This same director of mine, I know I can call her name. She's called Louisa. I can give you her number to call her.
Director, we make
she said in Seoul, Korea, Seoul. She said there was this politician woman. She has been chasing this contract. It's $1 million contract. She came to Seoul. They met, chatting with her. Then she said, would you like to meet Dr. Cho of blessed memory? And he said, oh, I wouldn't mind. Then she told her, Dr. Cho is a very simple person. He doesn't meet just anybody. But he will not ask you money. Carry something that you have never done before. Money, something very huge. She put some dollar, started it, put it in there. She didn't do her request. Just went, they greeted Dr. Cho, prayed for her. She left. She came back to Ghana. As she was landing, they were calling her. Your contract, come for it. She was shocked. A politician doesn't know God. You see, that's what the Bible said. The children of the world, they are way sad than we. Some of you come here, you pray all night. You must, you see, the prophecies I give you that you park your car. If you will take this sermon literally, I tell you something about your life will change. Because it is not everything that is prayer. I told you, a witch said, as for Christians, they can pray, but they don't understand sacrifice. The day you understand sacrifice, because you see, Satan is not worried when you break the pattern and you are seated at the spot. Satan is not worried. Because he knows that if this person who has broken the pattern, if she doesn't understand how to maintain her seat, go back to your seat. First, everybody was looking at her. Now, if she packs and go back to her family house, will Peggy be, what do you think Peggy will be doing at her back? She'll be laughing at her. And all of you will be laughing because now you've come to we are all the same. The value is the same. So if you don't understand the principle of sacrifice, I tell you, you will go back to square one and people will mock you. They will laugh at you. You see, it is a mystery myself. I didn't understand. I didn't understand it. I went to preach for Horseman Cathedral, Action Chapel. Because we were struggling to get a land. Anywhere I go to, they'll tell me $100,000. That's the cheapest one they were telling me. But most of them were in town. I wanted to place the cap price. They'll tell you $100,000. You go to New Town, they'll tell you New Town. I say, eh? 5,000. How am I going to? So I went to preach for this friend of mine who is one of the Action Chapel Church. I ministered for him 2 days. It was a 5-day program. Our bishop himself was supposed to be the one for the last day. Archbishop, he said, man of God, look for money. The old man is coming here. I said, me, I've come to preach for you. Give me an honorarium, let me go. But I listened. That time I had come from America, so I had some small dollar. So I put some $1,000. I was very angry because I've gone to preach for you. Didn't bless me. You still want me to bring money. So that day I went. We sat in the meeting. The old man preached. So after the preaching, they ushered him to his hotel. That was when I saw men of God. We all have lined up. You all go. They will lay hands on you, pray for you. Then you saw your seat. So I was also in the queue. When I got there, the man prayed, and I put the seat. As I put the seat, I was crying inside. 2 days later, I had a dream. In the dream, we were doing church at Envy Time, and we drove out. We were sacked like pigs. We were sacked like flies. That time the church had grown big. And they sacked us from the place. So we went to Action. So when we got to Action, we took a bus, plenty buses, and we got to Action. When we got to Action, then we spoke to their youth leader. And their youth leader said, we have another tent, but we'll give you the youth auditorium and we will use the tent. So our bishop, together with James Sa, the College of Bishops, Bishop Mold, and all these big bishops, they were all sitting in one car and other cars. And we were doing our church. Telling people we're doing our church. When our bishop got to Action, he had our style of praise and worship. He knew that was not Action style. So he called the youth leader and said, who are these people?